Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Today we are joined by the perfect match. Jimbo and Kate, how are we doing? Are you both well?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, we should be the other way around because it's actually Kate and Jimbo. But I'll take it.
We can make that happen. There we go.
Once.
It's that simple. We can make that happen live on the video.
Back to normal, Sarah.
Back to normal. There you go. Guys, thank you for joining me. Listen, it's a very interesting time at Tottenham Hotspur at the moment. We've got the worst statistical manager of all time this season that could be the most successful manager for 41 years. It's Spursy. But what are you guys making of Tottenham in general before we get into the Europa League final? What's going on at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club?
Well, I'll go first because I'm always the negative one, Jimbo. But it's just been a shambles. It's been abysmal. It's been probably the season I've felt most disconnected from the football club in all my years of supporting them, which is 40 odd years now. So, I mean, it's outrageous that as a club and as a fan base, we're kind of saying, oh, well, we don't really care about the league now. It's all about Europe. Do you know what I mean? I've never known it where you're getting to this stage of the season and you don't give a monkeys about what happens because we can't get relegated. And had it not been for three teams being absolutely terrible, we would be in a relegation scrap with Manchester United. So I think it's rotten. I think Ange Postecoglou knows he's a dead man walking. I think the way he's been talking lately to the press, you know, when they asked him why Tottenham are losing a lot, and he said it's as clear as the nose on your face, and they sort of said, well, you're going to elaborate. I think he's coming across extremely rude and arrogant. And I think he knows his days are numbered, but it's whether he can do his I always win in the second season, mate, and give us a little bit of glory at the end of it, which we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, Jimbo, is that right? From your point of view, whenever I watch you and Kate, obviously I know that Kate is a little bit more direct and you're a little bit more Spurs rose-tinted glasses, so to speak. So how are you feeling about Ange and the situation at Spurs?
Well, I mean, look, Saber, I've said this probably 30 times on streams that I don't think Ange is a bad manager, right? I don't, because if you look at his record since he's been managing, he's won wherever he's been. He won the Asian Cup, and you know, football, that's not an easy trophy to win, right? Especially with a team like Australia, right? And he won the Asian Cup. So you've got to have something about you. But I just think I don't want to sit here and say he's a terrible manager because I don't think he is. He's won 21 trophies. I think this will be his 22nd if he wins next Wednesday. So I don't want to sit here and say he's a terrible manager because I don't think he is, but I think he's out of his depth in the Premier League. I think he's that one step too far. If you look at some managers that come up with teams, they never do well. You know, there's a few managers that have been up a few times and they always end up back down. Then they stay in the Championship and they do well. I think he's that type of manager. I think this is just that one step too far. But I won't sit here and say he's a bad manager because anyone in there who's won 21 trophies, right, as a manager, they've got to have something about them.
I'll tell you what, Jimbo, you don't have to say it. I'll say it. I think he's a dreadful manager. I'll say it for you. Don't you worry. Just kidding. Look, by hook, by crook, what has been an awful season, 20 league defeats, Kate, 4 further defeats in the league, in the League Cup, FA Cup and Europe. We are 6 days away at the time of recording. We are 6 days away from another European final, our second in 6 years. The second one that's going to be in Spain. How are you feeling in general about the lead up to this final? And has it started to get the same sort of vibes as the 2019 final, which was also kind of hampered by injuries? That was a lack of form going into that. If you remember that second half of that season, we fell off a cliff. And is everything starting to feel a bit 2019 ish, but without the 4th place in the league?
Everything's starting to feel a little bit Spursy because we've lost our 3 creative midfielders, and it's just like a time where we really could do with no injuries, and everyone was coming back, and it looked like we was going to potentially have a near enough full squad. We've lost Madison, Kulu, Bergvall. There's rumours on Twitter that he's training. I don't know how true it
Yeah.
is. I was really confident when we beat Bodo Glimt. I thought this is it. You know, I can't see Man United beating us, and I was super confident. It's knocked me sideways now. I'm sort of sitting a little bit more on the fence. But 6 years ago when we was in the Champions League final, I was super confident then because Pops made me believe we could beat anyone. So it's I don't know if it was giving me those vibes. I don't feel the excitement I felt because I'm so disconnected from the club and I'm so disgusted with the manager that we've got. I just don't feel that buzz that I felt, but probably the day before it'll all start building up. But at the minute, it's all a bit, it just doesn't seem possible that we're sitting so far down the table and could potentially walk away with a trophy. To me, it's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, Jimbo, it is crazy, right? And I get it. I get what Kate's saying. Listen, I'm excited from the point of view that more for our need to win this. And I've said, Jimbo, that this is now no longer about winning the trophy. This is more about the ramifications of winning the trophy for either Spurs or Man United. Both of them, one with a new stadium, i.e. us, them looking to build a new stadium, both managers under pressure, both had a terrible season, both will lose roughly 80 to 100 million pounds of Champions League revenue. Is it now more important the fact that we can get the monkey off our back to win a trophy, or is it about, hang on, Spurs need to keep up with the Villas, the Newcastles, the Chelseas? What's more important here?
I don't think winning this game, Sava, puts us back in the realm of keeping up with the Chelseas and Villas, and because all it actually does is it paper over a lot of cracks.
Sure.
Right? So I don't think it puts us back in that realm again. But what I'm going to say is I think we're going to win it. I remember when we lost to Liverpool, the Liverpool players were saying, this happened to us. We lost in the final and we've learned a lot from it, and they won, and this will happen to you. You'll get back into a final, European final, and you would have learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
And I think we will have learned a lot from that as a club. And I think we're going to go out there and win it. I would think it's written in the stars for us to go out there and win it.
Jimbo, do you know what? I did a video about a month ago when we were still playing Frankfurt, and I said, I feel like the stars are aligning. I feel like we're going to win it. And I said, in no way does this mean I think that we've got a good manager, but I do feel that we've had a nice path and it's set up to win. But Kate is right, in terms of, we've lost James Maddison, who is for me, I've said this a number of times, Jimbo. For me, James Maddison's the best footballer at Tottenham Hotspur. He's a footballer. We've got a lot that run around, but this guy's got the flair. This guy's got the creative passing, the touch, the control. Losing him, then Kulu, it just feels like, Jim, from your point of view, where are the goals coming from? Where's our attacking threat coming from in the one-off game against United?
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, Kate will tell you, back me up on this. What you've said about Maddison, I say exactly the same. I absolutely love him as a footballer.
Me too.
I think he's fantastic. And I was saying to Kate a long time before he come to us, we needed him at Tottenham. He was a Tottenham type player. But look, the thing is with Tottenham, we're blessed in the sense of, right, that we've got people all over the pitch that score goals. So we're not relying, like when we had Kane and Son, we was relying on them two all the time. I mean, what was it? Something like 80% of our goals come through them.
Who scores now? Who really scores for Tottenham that's available?
We got Johnson scores, right? He's our top scorer. We've got Solanke scores, right? Richarlison scores. He scored, I think, 4 in the last 6 games, right? Something like that. We got Porro scores. He scores goals. Sarr scores goals. They score here and there. We got players. What?
Scored a goal.
Yeah, I wasn't going to throw his name in there. But
I hear you, but not from the goal scoring aspect. Only my feeling, and by the way, I have said we're going to win, so I'm not going to move away from that. I am starting to get a bit more nervous every day, but I can't see where the creation's coming from, because if you look at all of the games where Maddison comes off, suddenly Spurs go from looking like a cohesive unit to we've got nothing back to front. Kulu, whilst not the same type of number 10 as Maddison, gives you that goal threat, gives you a bit more dragging you up the pitch. At the moment, Jimbo, it looks like we're going to have, Bentancur, Basuma and Sarr, who have got 2 assists between them all year in 4 competitions. Odegaard doesn't assist. Tell doesn't assist. We don't know if Sonny's fit. I'm just a bit nervous as to where it's coming from, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, look, you're exactly right, 100% right. I can't disagree with that. But we're just going to have to trust them on the day that they get it right and they work on it. They've had a few weeks, and they have a few weeks to work on it. We just have to have trust in them. That's all we can do.
Yeah. I mean, Kate, let me come to Kate's face. I love it. It's so different. I love it.
It was Jim reading off the people that score for us, and I was laughing because I was watching your face, thinking he's thinking, yeah, but they don't score enough goals.
Yeah, they don't score enough, Kate. But it's a one-off game.
I've got all the stats memorized up here, but I don't want to say it on a show like this. But no, look, you're right. I think like what I said about Johnson, for example, just quickly before we move on. I've said Brennan Johnson, for me, we have to give 100% credit because what he does, he's good at. Yeah, that skill of getting in the box, undetected, we can call them tap-ins, whatever we want to say, he scores goals. The problem I have is I think he's a real enigma in terms of when he's not scoring goals. I feel like we play with 10 men. I feel like it's almost score a goal or nothing. And that's fine, I think, when it's your striker doing that. But when it's one of your guys out wide and you've got no creative player in the middle, he doesn't create. We're now looking at a 50% fit Son, who is not the Son of 3 or 4 years ago. There's a lot of pressure on Sonny to be fit now and actually recapture some form, isn't there, for this final? Massive pressure on him.
Yeah, and I think it opens that can of worms of the Champions League final. Should we play Kane? Should he have played Moura? Kane wasn't fully fit, but 50% fit Kane is better than 100% fit Moura. That whole conversation, I can see that coming up again. For me, I don't start Sonny, whether he says he's fit or not. I just don't start him. I think it's not worth risking him, and he's nice to come off the bench. So that's my thought for the final. As far as the attackers go, I'm kind of thinking maybe he might go with an Archie Gray type player in midfield, tell him to push back and Porro come forward, because we all know Porro, some of the balls that he's put into the box this year have been magnificent. And we need someone who can cross the ball. So, Star likes to shoot from distance, and he has scored, but he's not someone I'd rely on. I said Basuma because we were at the game where he did that absolute thunderbolt. I think it was Everton, actually.
Yes, but, I think it was Everton.
Yeah,
it was.
It's difficult.
It was like a long time ago when we used to batter teams 4-0, doesn't it?
I know.
It was like a very long time ago. Yeah.
We was actually at that game, Kate.
That's what I said. And whizzed, I thought it was going to break through the net and whiz past our face because it was right behind the goal. But it is a little bit concerning as to where that little bit of creativity is going to come from, because I really like Solanke and I get it. I know a lot of people moan about him because he doesn't score enough, but I think what he does, aside from scoring goals, is underrated. But it's the defence to the attackers, that bit in between. Bentancur started to play really well, but can he give us a little bit of creativity? I don't know, and that is why I'm not feeling as confident as I was.
Well, look, just before I get some predictions, I think something Kate's touched upon there, Jimbo, is really relevant. When I made the comparisons with 2019 earlier, this very much with Son does feel like Kane 2.0, doesn't it? Where it was, hang on, you've got Luke. By the way, I'm not saying Lucas Moura is better than Kane, but at that time, Lucas Moura must have been on cloud 9. His confidence must have been through the roof. And listen, one of the black marks I think that goes against Pochettino was, poor mate, dropping your match winner who got you to the final is a bit of a stunny. For me, what I've said, Jimbo, is I think he's got to start tomorrow and prove he can get through 70 minutes of football to have any chance of starting in the final. Would you play him? Do you agree with that? Or would you wrap him in cotton wool? What do you make of Son?
No, I agree 100%. He needs to get some game time, even if it's only the first half. You know, the first half or the second half. He needs to definitely get some game time. He can't just. For me, it's the worst thing you can do, right? Is have a player out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then on a massive game, throw him in. And Kane in that final against Liverpool was a non-entity, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He might as well
yeah.
not been on the
Unfortunately,
pitch. So I
yeah.
think it'd be the same with Sonny. And we know Sonny's not what he was, and he is a bit of a slow starter sometimes when he's on the pitch. You know, sometimes the first 30 minutes you don't see a lot of him, and then he kicks in. So I think I wouldn't, unless he plays at least half a game tomorrow, I wouldn't start him.
No, I completely agree with you. Listen, I'm going to get some predictions. What I will just say quickly to mention Man United is I feel like with Man U, we've got to do one thing to win the game. I don't know if you two agree. And I think it is nullify Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
And Bruno Fernandes for me is one of those that every opposition fan thinks he's annoying. Everyone hates him. Everyone finds him a pest. But this guy, year in, year out, scores the bulk of Man U's goals, gets all their assists. This guy is the guy to nullify. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
I think so. I think I mean, people slag him off, but his stats are off the chart. He's just
amazing.
Consistent, week in, week out, year in, year out. But I agree. I think he's the big danger for us. But we all know, you know, if Richarlison starts and does a bit of his, you know, argy-bargy, we do know that Bruno is, you know, liable to lash out. So there is that avenue. But I do agree. I think that's where the real quality is. But then again, Maguire as well. He's been playing well of late. Who knows? Might have Harry Maguire, the legend, turn up.
Yeah. Well, listen, they've got experience. I think this is the difference between their team and ours. You know, whatever we think of them as players, Casemiro is a serial winner over and over again in the biggest of tournaments. Christian Eriksen's, we know his quality. Mason Mount is a serial winner as well from his time at Chelsea. Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, Mazraoui, De Ligt. These people have all won trophies. With that in mind, Jimbo, last thing before I get your predictions. Man United have been terrible, as have we. Both teams have been terrible. Do you go by this theory, shameless, about the heritage? Do you go by this theory that Man United, no matter how bad they are, seem to get the job done in the final? Does that bother you?
No, it don't bother me. I think that they're favourites, right? Which really surprises me because we've beaten them 3 times this season, so we've definitely got something about us against them. So I was really surprised that they were favourites. No, I don't think that means shit in a final. It's a one-off. It's a one-off game. Tottenham are going to be really, really up for this Saba. Haven't had a trophy in 17 years.
Right? I hope so. I've said that the last 2 finals, Jimbo, and we've not scored a goal in a final for 4 finals. Fingers crossed.
If you look at this team, right, the games in Europe that we've really needed to do well, they've really pulled it out of the bag.
Sure.
And I think to myself, I just think they're going to turn up for this game. I'm convinced.
I hope you're right.
Look, you got to look at it, right? They've had one of the worst seasons this club's ever had, right? Apart from getting relegated, right? This is one of the worst seasons I can remember for I don't know how long, right? And yet all these guys could turn out to be heroes.
It's mad. Jim, just so you know, this is statistically and factually our worst ever Premier League season. The only way we can stop it being our worst point season in the Premier League is if we beat Villa and Brighton. So our lowest ever points tally in the Premier League is 44. We're currently on 38. And our most ever defeats in a Premier League season is 20. But that was in a 42 game season, not a 38 game season. So this is our worst ever since it changed to 38. So listen, they owe us. I think they owe us more than anything. I'm going to ask you 3 quick fire questions, guys. And there's no sitting on the fence to any of these. Kate, are Spurs winning the Europa League? Yes or no?
Yes.
What's the score going to be?
3-2.
3-2. Okay, Jimbo, Spurs winning the Europa League?
100%.
Score?
3-1.
Okay, Kate, if Spurs win the Europa League, is Ange Postecoglou the manager for the first game of next season?
please God, no on everything that's sacred and holy. No.
Jimbo, same question. If he wins it, anyway, he's our manager next season?
No. No, I'm going to
Okay.
say no because, look, I'm going to say that he's going to be a hero for this club for winning us a European trophy, but the league table don't lie.
Exactly.
You're right. And the last question, I'll start with you this time, Jimbo. If Ruben Amorim loses this final, is he Man United manager for the first game of next season?
I don't care.
It's not a question I asked you.
No.
No. Kate?
100%. They will not be getting rid of Amorim. He's their choice. They won't admit defeat yet. I think they keep him.
I love how different you two are. I think it's brilliant. Guys, listen, thank you very much. Look, all I can say is this on behalf of all Spurs fans. Listen, it is 90 minutes. It's 90 minutes, 120 minutes. I've gone from 2-1 Spurs to I think this game has got stinky draw written all over it and penalties. And I just feel that we will edge it because Onana is awful. Now Q and Onana having an amazing game in the final. But I think we will, by hook or crook, scrape this game. And you know what? I've said all along, we need it because otherwise this summer is going to be, we're £37 million down on Premier League revenue. We're going to have no European revenue. This is going to be a long, long summer if we don't win this. So let's hope we win it. Jim, Kate, thank you very much. Everybody knows where to find Jim and Kate. They're over at The Perfect Match. Their link is in the video. Please go over there and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. And as always, come on.
Come on, Spurs.
What they said.